Hello, I'm going to talk to you about foreclosure, that horrible word that anyone with a mortgage is thinking about when you can't pay your mortgage. Unfortunately, foreclosure proceedings in Spain follow a very, very strict set of rules. This means that when a bank forecloses on a loan and they instigate repossession or sale through auction, whichever of the two outcomes to a foreclosure proceeding are expected, then your right to defend yourself is extremely limited. You cannot say that you've lost your job. You cannot say that there was another partner within the ownership of that property who's failed to pay, or you can't even say that you dissolved the joint ownership of that property and you no longer are the owner of the property, because you still are the borrower of that loan. So we've got to realise that this is pretty much a one-way street, and your rights to protect yourself when the bank comes after you and your property are very limited. Some foreclosure proceedings have been halted, is what they call stayed, and they've been stayed on grounds of criminality. For example, if a mortgage loan was granted with false pretenses, in other words, cheating, by the lender, then you can instigate criminal proceedings against the lender and then stop the foreclosure until the criminal proceedings are sorted. Now, this, which sounds sort of a remote possibility, actually has happened in respect of the equity release. The equity release, which was nothing more than taking out money from your otherwise unencumbered property and sending it abroad to some tax haven for its investment there. In some instances, or I would say most of them, was actually done through deliberate misrepresentation or even fraudulent misrepresentation. So there are a few foreclosure proceedings there which have been halted, fortunately for the property owners, and what they're doing is obviously trying to get the bank to stop this on grounds that they committed fraud. Apart from that, apart from the actual fraudulent origin of the mortgage loan, there's not many things you can do. However, there is a law which just came out in November last year, or December, thereabouts, where you are allowed to stay in the property for up to 2 years. Now, this law has certain specifications in respect of who is entitled to benefit from the rights you have under the law, but generally what it says is that if you've lost your job and you haven't got an income, then you can stay up to 2 years, provided the foreclosure is by a bank. In other words, that you had a loan by a bank and that loan was used to buy the property. It wouldn't work in the case of loans which were taken out subsequent to owning the property, i.e. equity release. But if you did buy the property with a loan, you can't pay it now, then you can go to the court and request that the eviction or the proper repossession and following that eviction is stayed for up to 2 years. This is very important because if you have children or if you have other members of your family living with you, or you haven't got anywhere else to go, then this will allow you to look for a job in this period of 2 years, and you'll be able to negotiate with the bank as well. But the importance of it is that the bank will not be entitled to kick you out, which is, within the bad news, is something positive. Thank you very much.